At least 4 people have been killed after a part of a residential building collapsed due to a gas explosion in Magnitogorsk, a Russian industrial city about 1,700 kilometers east of Moscow. Authorities say the fate of 68 people is still unknown. A resident who was evacuated from the building described the scene there.
I was woken up by the sound of the explosion and the shattered glass. The windows in my living room were blown out. I ran to the kitchen. The windows there were also shattered. I could smell smoke. My neighbors were yelling. The main door was blown out, and it was blocking our door and theirs. I thought there would be stairs, but we left the corridor, and there was just trouble.
Well, RT's Nadira Tudor joins me in the studio now with the latest. Nadira, we've been across this story since early this morning when the incident occurred. It's a developing story, of course. Can you bring us up to speed on the latest?
Yeah, it's a real tragedy, especially at this time of year. It's New Year's Eve. It's a national holiday. People are obviously celebrating or preparing for the new year. So for this to happen at this time is truly a real sad event. Now, as we know, it happened in Magnitogorsk, which is about 1,700 kilometers from Moscow. It happened in the early hours of the morning, so around 6 a.m. local time. And what the emergency services have said, that it was caused by a gas explosion at the center of a building, which caused the other sides to collapse. It's a multi-unit residential building, so it's part of a complex. The fear is what the emergency services have said, that the other 2 buildings that are still there, intact at the moment, might collapse. So they've actually evacuated the whole place. That's another 1,000 people told to leave the area. About the building itself in question, it consisted of 48 flats. It had approximately 120 people registered in those flats. 4 people have died. 4 people have been hospitalised, including 1 child. That's what we know so far. And we know the fate of 52 of those people. So at the moment, the numbers we're looking at is 68 people are officially unaccounted for. What we do have is an eyewitness account where a lady describes what happened.
There was a blast. At first, we thought there was an earthquake. We rushed to a balcony and saw fire in that house, on the 2nd floor. No windows were left in our flat. They were all blown out.
Now, the fear is that many of those who are unaccounted for may be buried in the rubble, and the emergency services, they were very prompt, weren't they?
Yeah, they certainly were prompt, and yes, that is a fear that, you know, there are people still there. They could possibly be alive, or we don't know, they could be dead. But they responded within 10 minutes. And news just in is that there are more than 1,300 rescuers there on the scene now, with 200 pieces of equipment. 500 more people are on their way to help out too. Additional teams of psychiatrists have been deployed. The emergency minister, he's just arrived there on the scene as well, and there are other staff available on standby. Obviously, President Vladimir Putin has been informed of what's going on. They are worried. And this is quite serious. So apart from the damage that's been caused and those unaccounted for, the temperatures are freezing. So it's minus 17 at the moment. It's predicted that it's going to go to minus 27 tonight. So time really is of the essence, because there could be hypothermia involved as well. What we have seen during times of tragedy, as we see often in communities, they pull together, and this is certainly the case now, as we see, for those who've lost their homes, possibly family members, friends, people are pulling together and helping out there, and obviously we'll keep you posted as to any developments on what happens there.
Absolutely. We're going to be across this story all day, I expect, but it is good to see that people are coming together and trying to help those in need, especially at a time like this, New Year's Eve. Nadira Tudor, thank you for bringing us the latest. Well, at least 26 people have died from the after effects of gas explosion in residential blocks this year alone in Russia. Other tragedies linked to building collapses have also claimed more than 100 lives over the last 15 years.